Stage 1 of the 2019 edition of the Ladies Tour of Norway would take the riders 128.4 kilometres from Asgardstrand to Horten. The first intermediate sprint of the day would come at 23.5 kilometres covered at Revetal. The first Queen of the Mountains at 33.1, followed at 69.4 by the second at Rakkestad. The final intermediate sprint at Holmestrand before they then headed in towards 3 laps of a 7.6 kilometre finishing circuit with no major climbs. Everything pointed to a bunch sprint. With rain forecast all day, cold, wet conditions awaited the riders as they rolled away from the start. After a short neutralised section of just under 4 kilometres, racing proper got underway. The first intermediate sprint came at 104.5 kilometres to go, and this was taken by Canyon SRAM's Lisa Klein, ahead of local favourite Emily Moberger, with Hannah Barnes in third, just ahead of CCC Liv's Rihanna Marcus. On to the Queen of the Mountains point at Kannerod, it was Mitchelton Scott's Lucy Kennedy that edged out Rosella Ratto over the top, with Soraya Paladin in third and Taylor Wiles taking 1 point for Trek Segafredo. The rain, though, continued to pour down as they headed towards the second point in the mountains competition. This time, though, it was Ale Cipollini's Paladin that took maximum points ahead of Elena Emiliasuk, with Kennedy coming over the summit in third place for 2 points, with Ratto taking fourth and 1 point. Emily Moberg was clearly targeting the sprints jersey as they went into Holmestrand for the second and last intermediate sprint of the day. She took maximum points ahead of Canyon SRAM's Lisa Klein, who also clearly had her eye on this jersey, with her teammates Elena Emiliasuk and Hannah Barnes third and fourth. While the pattern of the stage so far looked perfect for a big bunch sprint, Team Sunweb had other ideas. They turned left, hit some crosswinds, and Leah Kirschman and Flortia Mackay put a hammer down that Thor would be proud of and just disintegrated the peloton. It continued to split, and while most of the pre-race favourites would eventually make the leading group, many saw their general classification hopes disappear up the road. Team Sunweb had American sprinter Corin Rivera in the group, and she was also helping to drive the move forward. The rain was starting to clear as they headed towards the final 20 kilometres of the stage. Flortia Mackay was looking very animated at the front, and after multiple attacks, she would eventually take a group clear that would contain Winder, Lack, Barnes and Majerus. Again, it was not meant to be, and it all came back together, and it would come down to a reduced group sprint. After all their work to set up the stage on slick roads, Team Sunweb's lead out overcooked a right-hander close to the finish. Chloe Hosking looked back. It was too early for her to be on the front. She throttled back but would kick again into the finish. With Diedrichsen on her wheel, it was Dutch champion and revelation of 2019 Lorena Wiebes who powered through a near non-existent gap, coming past both Hosking and Diedrichsen to take the stage and the leader's jersey. There's the gap on the line. Wiebes takes another great victory in what has been a standout year, ahead of Chloe Hosking in second, with Diedrichsen in third, with Paternoster, Vos, Anderson, Gutierrez, Roy, Bastianelli and Duval the top 10. Stage 2 took the riders 133.6 kilometres from Meissen to Askim. The first test of the day, the intermediate sprint at Rakkestad at 18.8 kilometres covered. A Queen of the Mountains at Linnekleppen at 37.9 and Auger at 58 kilometres. Moving on to the second intermediate sprint at Meissen at 83.7 kilometres covered before a finishing circuit with 3 laps of 8.1 kilometres. It included a short, sharp climb before a fast run to the finish. Lorena Wiebes took a 4-second advantage over Chloe Hosking into the stage, with Diedrichsen in third at 6 seconds. The intermediate sprint at Rakkestad was taken by Emily Moberg ahead of Ale Cipollini's Eri Yonamine, with Nicole Steigenger and Heidi Franz taking third and fourth. After taking the Queen of the Mountains jersey on stage 1, Soraya Paladin was setting a stall out for a challenge in that competition. She took maximum points on the opening climb ahead of Lucy Kennedy, with Mavi Garcia in third. Climb 2 of the day at Orge, her Ale Cipollini teammate Diana Pinuela of Colombia was now the leader. The ever-vigilant Paladin, though, came across the line in second to take 3 points and extend her lead, with both Mavi Garcia and Lucy Kennedy taking third and fourth. The intermediate sprints jersey in this race carries no bonus seconds, so it's solely a points battle. Pinuela had been caught and Team Virtu's Emily Moberg again took the sprint in Meissen with a Bull Dolmans trio of Caroline Canuel, Amelie Deirdrickson and Skylar Schneider packing the front. Disaster struck though with 16 kilometres to go as Lorena Wiebes in the yellow jersey hit the deck. She would be quickly up and on her way, but it would be a frantic chase for the Dutch rider. Her Park Hotel Valkenburg teammates did a valiant job bringing her back into the peloton. Just as she regained the back, Marianne Vos attacked. She took a group clear containing Amelia Suk, Paladin, Kirschman and Winder. This group though had too many dangerous riders in it and they never gained much of an advantage and they would be brought back. On the final climb of the day though, Marianne Vos made a bold move. Further from the finish than many of her recent victories, there would be alarm bells ringing loud and clear in the main group behind. The CCC Live rider looked like a nailed-on victory, but again, it was a huge turn by Lisa Klein to try and lead out Alice Barnes that brought the group within striking distance. After her crash, Wiebes was back at the front, desperately trying to defend her jersey. It would be a phenomenal finish, but if anyone could hold on, then it was Vos, and she celebrated a famous victory, coming in ahead of British champion Alice Barnes. For Wiebes, though, she just faded before the line, missing out on the bonus seconds for the top 3, and she finished 7th. So Marianne Vos and Lorena Wiebes were now level on time, with Chloe Hosking at 4 seconds. Stage 3 was the only hilltop finish in this year's race, from Moss to the Fredriksten Fortress above Howden. 125.3 kilometres with one full lap of 7.5 hilly kilometres to the finish. Intermediate sprints at 21 kilometres covered in Valais, the 4.9 kilometre climb for the QOM at Stutfosstjern at 32.2, and the intermediate sprint in the town of Howden, 9 kilometres to go before they would hit the climb for the first time. It averaged 1.3 kilometres in length with a 7.3% average gradient. Marianne Vos looked resplendent in her yellow jersey as they rolled away from the start, but it would be a gutsy move from Shannon Mouseed of Tibco Silicon Valley Bank that would be the story of the day. At the first intermediate sprint, she led across the line ahead of points leader Emily Moberg, with Jess Allen of Mitchelton Scott leading through her teammate Sarah Roy for 3rd and 4th place. Mouseed took the Queen of the Mountains point at Stutfosstjern, while behind her, Emily Moberg was looking to try and take some points in that classification as well. Behind her, though, the Queen of the Mountains leader in the polka dot jersey, Soraya Paladin, was very much to the front, and she would come across the summit in 3rd place ahead of Anna Plichter of Trek Segafredo, Lucy Kennedy, an early challenger, missing out on points. Mouseed's lead would go up in excess of 6 minutes. The peloton were happy to let her go at this point. The Aussie's advantage would continue to grow and grow. Could she manage to go all the way to the finish? She hit almost 7 minutes before the chase finally started. The former Australian champion was battling hard at the front. Marianne Vos took a moment to go back to the team car, potentially to discuss the strategy going into the final stages. Just inside 40 kilometres to go, and there was a big crash which delayed many of the peloton. Most of the fallers were able to get up and finish the stage. It would take the peloton quite a while to regroup, as many groups had been fractured off the back. Marianne Vos needed a bike change, and Marta Bastianelli was also looking for her team car. Shannon was looking super focused, still holding 2 minutes and 20 seconds inside the final 30 kilometres. It wasn't outside the realms of reality to hold on. The kilometres to go were counting down, and she was inside a minute from the peloton as she hit 20 kilometres to go. Mousey was showing a concern for the environment, as all riders are encouraged to do, with her full energy gels in one pocket and the empty wrappers in the other. After a strong ride though, the bunch now had her in their sight, but another crash behind would take out many riders. Multiple crashes means multiple chases, and all this takes away from your stage winning power. Mousy though was caught on the run in towards the finish, and it would be Mitchelton Scott that would lead in towards Howden. They were splitting the group behind, but Team Sunweb took the intermediate sprint at Howden, but now the focus turned to the climb. Stina Borgli, the informed Norwegian rider, was at the front with Marianne Vos just behind. It was at this point though that Vos made her move, taking control. Borgli tried but couldn't follow as they headed towards the summit. It would in fact be only Corin Rivera, the American rider from Team Sunweb, that was able to follow. As they went through the line with 1 lap to go, Rivera was closing to the flying Vos. Borgli was battling to stay in contention, while behind a select group came together in an attempt to chase them down. On the descent, Vos and Rivera were extending their advantage over the small chase group behind. Vos was flicking her elbow for the American to come through, looking for her to assist in the pacemaking. They're heading towards the final climb that would decide the stage, and just she had done on the previous day, Lisa Klein put in a huge turn to set things up for Canyon Schramm, this time for Kasia Niewiadoma. As they headed up the climb, the Polish rider in a huge gear went on the attack. She was closing down to the two leaders. They were playing a game of poker at the front. Vos had been leading, but she managed to maneuver Rivera through, and as they came towards 200 metres to go, Rivera swung sharply left, and this would be her mistake. Vos needed no second invitation to go and launched her sprint to the line. Rivera had no answer, and it would be 2 days and 2 victories for Marianne Vos of CCC Live, crossing the line almost 4 seconds ahead of the American, opening that in just 200 metres. Rivera hung on for second, while behind Niewiadoma was caught just before the line by a flying Demi Vollering, but it was Vos the boss back to her brilliant best. Confirmation of the result: Vos takes it from Rivera, Vollering, Kirschman, Niewiadoma, Kennedy, Mackay, Garcia, Paladin and Heiner. The fourth and final stage started in Svinesund on the border with Sweden, taking in the intermediate sprint at Stena at 18.9 kilometres, the Queen of the Mountains at Dafter and Glende at 33.5 and 61.5 respectively, before the border sprint and the final intermediate sprint on the finish line with 3 laps of the 5 kilometre circuit. It was flat, it was fast. Would it be a bunch sprint? They rolled away under sunny skies yet again, with Marianne Vos leading off in the yellow jersey. Moberg sealed her green jersey with a sprint win at Stena ahead of Barbara Gwerischke, with Lottie Becker and Lisa Klein taking 3rd and 4th. Soraya Paladin then sealed her own Queen in the Mountains jersey with maximum points at Dafter, just ahead of Cecchini, Wiles and Koch. They would then move on to Glende, the final counting climb, and it was Team Drops Joss Loudon who took maximum points, with Florentia Mackay, Vos and Rivera 2nd, 3rd and 4th respectively. A leading trio was now clear at the border sprint. It was taken by Mavi Garcia of Movistar, Pip Pinuela of Ale Cipollini to take the border sprint jersey. Their attack though would be brought back under control by the peloton, led by Park Hotel Valkenburg. Into the finishing circuit, it was Mitchelton Scott's Monique Taniglo that would make her move. She would hold a slender advantage in a similar move to the one she made in the previous weekend's Vagada World Cup. Behind her, Ruth Winder of Trek Segafredo was giving chase. For Taniglo, she was not thinking about the intermediate sprint on the line with 14.2 kilometres to go. She was fully invested in the stage win. Taniglo though, but despite taking maximum points ahead of Winder, Korovar and Niewiadoma, would eventually be caught, and it would come down to a bunch sprint. As they headed towards the final kilometres, yet again it was Lisa Klein who was trying to lead out the sprint for Alice Barnes. Rivera was poised on the teammate wheel as Chloe Hosking and Marta Bastianelli with their yellow jersey of Marianne Vos not far away. It was a tight technical finish, and as Vos came in towards the final corner, she made her move. Ilaria Sanguinetti of Valcar got up onto the wheel, but Vos rounded the final corner, and in a perfectly timed move, the yellow jersey launched her sprint, and after taking all 3 victories in 2018, she took her 3rd straight win of 2019 in Halden. Confirmation of your stage result: Marianne Vos takes it ahead of Marta Bastianelli, with Sanguinetti, Hosking, Barnes, Kirschmer, Pasico, Weebus and Majerus your top 10. So Marianne Vos, for the 3rd straight year, takes the overall in the Ladies Tour of Norway. It now looks like great form going into the World Championships. Marianne Vos takes it 29 seconds ahead of Conor Rivera, with Leah Kirschman 3rd at 41.